Oh, here to weigh in, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Now, Trump says the cost went from 2.5 to 3.1. It's the overall project, apparently. Powell disputed that. But the whole point that President Trump was trying to make is this guy's holding up our interest rates, God bless him. But it doesn't seem like they can even manage a sprawling project. They're like, oh, the windows are expensive. They're blast-proof windows, billions of dollars.
It's unbelievable. They are losing so much money. The way they're managing everything is so bad. And then they spend $3 billion. And I love the name, by the way, the Fed Mahal. I mean, how great is that for Taj Mahal? It's so funny.
In the end, President Trump said, well, he thinks that Powell will do the right thing. But there's a rate perhaps decision from the board coming up shortly.
They're meeting next week. So, the president's trying to be, come on, do the right thing. You got to remember that every point saves the United States of America $360 billion. So cut a half and at least give America $180 billion. Come on. I mean, that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. Just cajole the guy into saving us only $180 billion a year.
It was a classic Trump move, though, going over to the building. It was like The Apprentice. I thought someone's about to get fired here. But he was asked if he would stop criticizing Powell at one point.
Are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you?
Okay, he's having some fun there, but we don't have to belabor that point. We'll see what happens. I want to talk about the trade deals, big deals, Indonesia, Philippines, and then Japan, which is a very big trading partner. Japan has its own trade deficit, pretty big one, but not with us, about $64.9 billion trade surplus with the United States. There's so many interesting things about this, but the $550 billion investment in the United States, I asked Secretary Bessent this last night, how will that actually be spent? Because American manufacturers are like, we just want American businesses here. We're not interested in helping the Japanese set up more businesses here. We want American companies and American workers.
Exactly. That's the misunderstanding. This is not Toyota investing in America. This is literally the Japanese government giving Donald Trump $550 billion and says, go fix whatever you need to fix. I'll give you an example. Generic antibiotics, right? We don't make antibiotics in America. They're made in China. How are we going to fix that? Because China sells them for half. So no one's going to go into that business. Donald Trump can take the Japanese money and say, let's go build a factory. Let's get an American company to operate it, right? We'll lease them the factory. And if they don't make much money, so what? That's the beauty of this deal. This is them putting $550 billion. That's why Donald Trump calls it a signing bonus, right? They cut their tariff costs by giving Donald Trump the money to invest in semiconductors, shipbuilding, critical minerals, pharmaceuticals, right? Critical minerals and rare earths. He can build anything he wants to make America powerful. I mean, if you want to talk about tariffs working, is there a better way to say he gets $550 billion to invest in America the way Donald Trump wants to do it? I mean, that is awesome.
And when we look at what's happened with China, for instance, I mean, China is having real problems with its manufacturing right now. They don't have anyone to sell to. I mean, article after article after article. So some would argue that you don't really need a deal with China. I know Trump is a deal maker. He likes doing deals. I know you like doing deals. But why just not have the tariffs in place? Why do we need a deal with China? They need to sell to us, right? They need to sell to us more than, really we need to sell to them. I don't trust that they'd buy a lot of our products, frankly.
I mean, we didn't feel it, right? Remember when it was 145%? Yeah. Did you feel it? But I tell you what, their factories were closing all over the place. So Donald Trump understands he doesn't need to do a deal with China. The idea is we've got 30% tariff on them for this term, 25 from his last term, so they're paying 55%. And you know what he's thinking? That's pretty good. Let's just...
What about the argument that's being passed on to the consumers? I've heard other people say there's not enough being said to dispute that at some point down the road, let's say there's not a deal. I frankly don't want a deal. I think it's working really well now, but I understand there probably would be a deal. But would those costs at some point be passed on to the consumers?
I don't know how many months have to go by before the 2.7% inflation is actually 2.7% inflation, right? We put 30% on China. Why? When the experts, these famous experts who say we're going to get inflation, where is it? You know where it is? It's nowhere because the Chinese need to employ their people. So they eat it because they need to keep selling. They need to keep selling. And, at some point, we need to balance ourselves, get our trade deficit down, get rid of them selling to Vietnam, who sells to us.
Yeah,
He's done that.
Transshipping is a disaster for American companies.
In every one of our deals, we say if it's got these other markets content, 40%. 40%. So Donald Trump is on it. And that's why he knows he's going to make $800, maybe $900 billion. Because if you put 40% on all of that stuff, this is going to the bottom line of America. Who paid for tax on tips and no tax on overtime? Tariffs.
And this will be American workers, not a glut of foreign workers, not a glut of H-1B visas, American workers and American companies.
Right. This is Donald Trump chooses the deal. He chooses the deal. And then we go implement that deal. And the Japanese are saying, in order to buy our tariff down from 25 to 15, here's $550
car
billion.
Companies, car companies, I heard some grumbling from some of our friends over at some of the big car companies.
Well, when you're so in love with it, charging the other guy 25% and you only charge him 15%. By the way, before April 2nd, we were charging them 2%. So now it's 15%, and, they're just not as happy as they were when it was 25%.
I love tariffs.
I get it, but I love tariffs.
I love tariffs.
You and me, we'll go out together.
I'm sorry, I love
and
tariffs.
We'll get tariff will pay for dinner.
I love tariffs. Mr. Secretary, great to see you. We're looking forward to what happens in Stockholm with the Chinese and also in European negotiations. We'll have you back. Thanks again.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.